What was the real decision behind eliminating coanglers in the Bassmaster Opens? That's what we're going to talk about right now. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I'm Steve Chapman. I'm Get Your Fish On. I've been doing radio shows and now YouTube for over 20 years. And I truly love fishing and bass fishing in particular. So hopefully if you like this kind of content, you'll subscribe to the channel. What was the real decision behind eliminating coanglers in the Opens? Was it really COVID? Now Bassmaster can say that, but this kind of is an excuse for me. Stats will tell you during COVID we had more fishing licenses bought, we had more tackle being sold, we had everything going on for us in this industry. And quite honestly, the industry was on fire. Sponsorships were up, everything was up. Tackle, rods, reels, everything was booming. Marketing budgets were being increased, sponsorships are going out easier, and the general industry was on an absolute high. We had an insane amount of anglers buying fishing licenses, and we had new anglers coming into the hobby and sport. And our goal should have been to try to keep those anglers participating in the hobby and sport. But since then, we have seen an increase in rods, reels, in everything, inflation. And because of that, the co-anglers have had to take a step back. COVID was a big deal. But keeping those anglers interested because of COVID, that were fishing during COVID, should have been the priority that we should have had. We needed to maintain those anglers, and inflation came about. And we found out that because of all the increases in tackle, rods, reels, boats, gas, everything in our day-to-day life, anglers or new anglers that just got into the sport because of COVID, then had to make a drastic decision on fishing or keeping up with their family. And family comes first. Or is it that boaters are just sick of co-anglers? There's a lot to this one. Having a co-angler that's on the boat that doesn't participate the same way that you fish as a boater makes the whole day really kind of long. You also have co-anglers who are local guys who think and want to think they know the way that the fishery is. They probably don't, or they would have had a boat. But not having co-anglers in the boat is going to offer a different narrative to fishing, or fishing in the Opens. First, we're really going to have to trust that those anglers are being honest and that they're policing themselves. Second, a co-angler usually gets out there and helps the boater back down the boat and do a couple little things that make the whole process a little bit faster. And some boaters expect a little bit of cash from their co-anglers to help for gas and other little things. And while many boaters don't mind having a co-angler on the boat, the problem that some boaters have is now they've given up their spot to another person that they didn't want to know they're fishing. And that spot can be shared with other anglers and other boaters that might not be as high or know about the place that they're fishing. And the co-anglers are really kind of meant to not only fish, to have a little bit of influx into the money going into the payouts, but they're kind of there to make sure that the boaters aren't cheating. So who's going to monitor that? And how much money, now that we don't have co-anglers, is going to be taken out of payouts, or the host city, or all the little things that the co-anglers bring to going to a Bassmaster Open event? There's something to be said when co-anglers come down from another state to rent an Airbnb, to stay at a hotel, to pay for gas, to get car rental, to get down here. And now that money is not going to be part of what's going on for that tournament. Or is it just too expensive to be a co-angler? To come down here, to stay at a place, to eat, to fish, to buy tackle, to do all the things you need to do to become a co. And then to get stuck on a boat with someone who doesn't remotely fish like you. And the payouts aren't as good. Is that the problem with co-anglers? Or is it a safety issue? Something I've never thought about until this video. And I'm going to share something that I haven't shared before. I was a marshal at a classic with Jason Christie. And in the time that I got in the boat and we drove to the first spot, I remember thinking, I really feel unsafe going 75 miles per hour. And it's kind of embarrassing to say this. And I say this as humbly as possible because I felt scared. I had never been in a boat that fast, going through waves, bouncing off the seat, not having anything to hold on to, just hoping to God that I didn't get flung out of the boat. And Jason was a great driver, so I knew I was safe. But there was a time during the ride that I didn't feel safe, that I didn't know what to do. And I remember hyperventilating because I was scared. And I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to look like a wimp. But I remember thinking, wow, this is crazy fast. So is this a safety issue? That's a question I ask you guys. And don't give me grief about it, because it's not something I wanted to ever share until I'm doing this video right now. My family doesn't have a clue about that. I've always believed that being a co-angler was a great opportunity to learn from some of the best, to learn a fishery that maybe you might not be as confident with, that you can see and watch a pro and how he acts and how he patterns fish. And that helps you learn that fishery, especially if you're a local person, paying the $150, $200, $250, whatever that co-entry fee is, and learning from some of the best guys who are learning that lake too, can only help you become a better angler at that local pond. Or was this recent decision to eliminate co-anglers about forward-facing sonar? The hot topic of the year has been forward-facing sonar. There's always something. There's a good, a bad, and an ugly of this. There are a lot of people that think this is a great way to catch fish. I do agree with you on that. Other people think it's really bad because the co-angler sits in the back and just gets to watch someone look down at their screens all day, and they don't get an opportunity to catch fish because the fish are always in front of the boater. And the ugly part of this is you can't get rid of forward-facing sonar and not worry about sponsorship for the Bassmaster Opens. So is it COVID? Is it forward-facing sonar? Is it safety? Is it that boaters don't like co-anglers? There's so many possibilities of what it really could be. And while I don't think it was COVID, I think it's come with inflation and forward-facing sonar and not payouts. I think COVID is just an excuse. But it seems to be the start of how this whole process went. But what I want to know is what you think the problem was. So comment below and tell me what you think. Thanks for hitting that like and subscribe button. Let me just say thank you to all the new members, all the new subscribers, all the people who are commenting on the channel and being interactive. I really appreciate it. Friday nights we're going to go live. We might have some guests and we might just sit and talk fishing. So come on the show. Come on here at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time Friday evening. I hope to see you there. Remember, take a kid fishing, tight lines, cheers, and get your fish on.